I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my creative healing course is filled with hours of exclusive content. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And today we're going to be talking about I lost a part of myself. When you're going through a breakup, it is absolutely devastating to who you are, and it impacts you on such a huge level. Your identity is a big part of it, because when you're in a relationship and a connection with somebody else, that has a huge part on your identity of being in this couplehood and being in this partnership with somebody and all of the things that come with that. So we're going to be looking at that today, and Coach Victoria has a great presentation. We're going to explore the many areas that you're going to be affected, that are affecting you, and also affecting your ex. So these are things to think about that not only you're experiencing, but your ex is thinking and feeling these things as well.
Right. So I want to start out actually with a personal story. And this is of my first relationship and my first love. And there's something about a first love that just kind of has a hold on you and something that you never forget. Because for many people, it's the first time that you're vulnerable with somebody to that degree. So me and this person were very close.
Can we give him a nickname?
Oh, you know the nickname?
Oh, I know the nickname.
What's the nickname?
Lion-O. We're going to call him Lion-O.
We'll call him Lion-O.
Lion-O?
Lion-O. From like the Thundercats. He looked like a Thundercat to me. I know who he is.
Okay.
But we were very close.
I've known Coach Victoria for many, many years now. Probably 8 or 9 years, I think.
Yeah, likely.
Yeah. So I know who this guy is.
And many relationships.
Yes.
So for this very first one, we were quite close.
Yes.
So close that Craig nicknamed him. And I remember that when we broke up, one of the first moments that I had alone, I remember we had a shoebox, and this was of all the stuff that he had returned to me, and this was sentimental gifts that I had given him throughout the relationship that were like pictures of us, or music that I wrote for him, or cute little things like that. And in the shoebox, I remember opening it up and looking at a picture, and in the picture I saw his face, and looking at his face, it was like I was looking at a reflection of myself. And it was so impactful, and I remember exactly how I felt in that moment.
Wow.
So confused about who I was and what life would be like now without him, and just knowing somebody so intimately and so closely that you kind of lose who you are. You kind of become a unit in a way. So that was a very impactful moment. And I think the first moment for many people that they realize that a part of them is missing can really leave a huge effect on somebody.
Yeah.
And this can be the moment that you sleep in a bed alone without them for the first time. Or if you're used to setting up dinner for both of you, the moment that you set up dinner just for yourself. These moments are very somber, and they leave a feeling that's indescribable in a way of a sense of loss.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, it's a feeling, it's an overwhelming feeling. It's not like you have this thought that causes you pain. It's just, you look at a picture and it's just, you're overwhelmed,
By your emotion.
Yeah.
And especially for those who have a role or a label tied to it, if you were married, you go from being a husband or a wife to being single or being labeled as divorced. And these labels can have such overarching meanings to you that it's hard to conceptualize where do you go from here and what does life look like now as a single person. So whether that be going from girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife, you're now a different person, a separate entity from that. And that can be a lot just to digest and to process after a breakup.
And culturally, it could have a big impact.
Absolutely,
on
that's
you.
what I'm thinking. That people are often defined by their partner.
Mm-hmm.
Or the stigma of, oh, you're divorced?
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, now it's not the same as it was 30 years ago.
But it was pretty rough back then. Yeah. Oh, she's a divorcee.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a big deal. I mean, I remember growing up, for me, divorce was like a
Yeah,
big
absolutely.
deal.
It was a
It's
big
like, oh
deal.
my gosh. Today, I mean, over 50% of the people get divorced, sadly.
Yeah.
But
Social stigma, no matter how you look at it. Yeah.
yeah, so that's going to impact your identity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's divorced.
Mm.
You know.
And the irony in this is that also the concept of being lost into somebody is also romanticized in society. So you always hear like, you're my second half, or you're a part of me, or I'd be lost without you. And these are phrases that are almost idealized in a way of how we view romance as a society. But nobody ever really talks about what happens if that relationship is severed or when it ends.
One of the old songs that always annoyed me on this count was, I think might have been Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, somebody back there. You're nobody till somebody loves you.
Mm.
Sure.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, but it makes you feel horrible.
Right, exactly. You're nobody till somebody loves you.
With music especially, it's really brought up the idea, especially like old music, like you have, like Lionel Richie, where it was like everything, you grow up to this music or Chicago or Air Supply. God forbid you listen to Air Supply after a breakup. You're going to feel horrible. Actually, you and I listened to it one time a few months ago, remember?
Yeah.
And then we were listening to some of the music on YouTube talking about how it impacts you.
And the reason we were doing that was because in the course we have some activities that help you to process the breakup. So that's definitely something to look into.
Yeah, actually is it 1 or 2 music activities that we had?
One.
I think there's 1, and then there's some others that...
Oh, yeah, there's at least 2 that I can think of.
Yeah, so... Yeah, because music has such an impact on us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think... And, well, poetry as well, but I think music is maybe more mainstream of how we have this identity of the one and this person, and I'm no one without you, because it's so poetic and, Yeah.
Another phrase that's quite popularized is that they brought out the best in me. And so this is a point
My better half.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is a point that I actually grabbed from Diane Barth. She has a Psychology Today article that I found very interesting. And in this point, she's saying that these parts of you, the best parts of you, were actually always there. It was just the environment of love and support that brought those out.
Right.
So if you can find that environment again in the future, those parts of you will still be there and will always be a part of you.
Yes, you still have them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the feeling of being lost in somebody and then losing that person, then feeling like you lost yourself, can leave you feeling like you're broken or in pieces, like there's a part of you that's empty.
Or at the part of you that was there wasn't so good that they could leave you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought this was so great, and they've left.
Yeah,
Right.
and I didn't see it coming makes it much worse.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
And not to forget either that every loss brings back every other loss. So if you've had multiple losses in your life, it's even worse because they all come up to say hello.
Yeah.
The only good news is that it helps you work through them further, but it's not easy to go through.
Mm. And in a way, to get kind of theoretical, this might sound wild, but when you're so fused with the partner, the moment that you separate from that person, it mirrors, in a way, when you're fused with your mother during pregnancy, and the moment that you're born, you're figuring out your way in the world.
Absolutely true. And people talk about the psychological birth of the human infant. The famous writer Margaret Mahler talks about that. And what she says is, when we're first born, we still think we're one with mom. But after a few months, it begins to occur to us that no, we're not part of mom. We are separate people. And it's an astounding realization and a frightening realization. And theoretical people think that we have our first little depression then, right?
Yeah.
That I'm alone. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm alone, and they're all bigger than I am.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So not so wild, Coach Victoria. Good thinking.
I also want to show you the other side of the coin, which could be if your partner was particularly avoidant, it could be that very reason of losing themselves in you that scared them to the point of leaving the relationship.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's
Because
a really big point.
losing that autonomy and that independence is the avoidance worst fear. Now, you might be stuck in a mindset of where do I go from here? What do I do now? How can I find myself again? And a great place to start is to think about who you were before the relationship. This can be thinking about dreams that you've always had that your relationship may have limited for you.
Sure. Yep. Because you were an individual before you got into a relationship. And as painful as it may be, some of you may not get back with that person. Some of you will just move on and date other people. Only time will give you the answer to that, but it is terrifying.
Right.
Being alone is terrifying.
Right.
Yeah. And for many of you, you might have had dreams before that partner about who you wanted to be and what you wanted to do in life. Like many of you may have wanted to travel or study in a certain program or purchase a new car. It could have been anything. So if you try to connect with that feeling of who you were before that person, you might be able to regain part of your identity in that way.
And you don't even think about it. So it's very good to bring that to people's conscious attention.
Also, another thing that you can do is to reconnect with friends and family. This can be particularly difficult if you shared mutual friends with that ex, because now your whole social circle is intertwined, and it can be hard to find who you are without that person in the midst of your friends. So going back to maybe friends that you've had that your ex didn't have, or even finding your own identity apart from them. And this can be hard in the beginning, especially if you're invited out to parties or to dinners and now they ask, oh, is so-and-so going? And you're, well, no, I'll be going alone. So even in those moments, that's when the realization hits you of, wow, things are going to be different from now on. But don't let that stop you from still interacting with people and socializing and meeting new people.
Absolutely.
The worst thing you can do is isolate, and of course it's tempting.
Yeah. Finding your identity again is also going to be attractive to your ex if that's your goal to get them back. So they're going to see how you're invested now into what interests you, and by doing that, you're going to gain confidence, you're going to feel more independent, and they will see somebody new and somebody novel, somebody different than what they're familiar with, and that's going to be exciting for them too. So regaining that identity can be a tool to reattract your ex.
Absolutely. It's a huge component to reattract somebody is to show them that you're going to be different, that things can be different, the relationship can be better, because oftentimes they don't believe you'll change. That's why we say always focus on the personal growth, because you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. No.
Right. And also, as you find different interests, you're going to find fulfillment in those different things. You're going to connect with people in different ways that you've connected with your ex. And that's going to be exciting for you too. So as difficult as it is to lose yourself in somebody and to feel like a part of you is missing and that you're empty, also view this as an opportunity for you to grow and for you to find yourself. And in a way, to be reborn again and to find your space in the world and grow confident in that.
I don't think there's anything more motivating than a breakup. I really don't.
No.
I've been a clinician for many years, as you have, and have you ever seen people more motivated to change?
No. It's absolutely true. After a breakup, sort of you look at absolutely everything in your life. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of question everything.
Yep.
You look at all mistakes you're making. You look at the things that you did wrong. A lot of that is, we do bargaining that we wish we could go back and do things different. But all you can do is focus on who you want to be and what you want to become after this breakup. which is why I've been saying that since day one, really, because I truly believe that.
Right.
Yeah.
So many of you guys have been in abusive homes, grew up with divorced parents. Maybe you didn't have good relationships with your family members. Maybe you had family members with mental health issues or substance issues, and you just were never shown a healthy relationship.
Right.
And then you come to our channel, and we're all about promoting healthy relationships to grow, and so you can become the person that you want to be.
Because you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We see it every day.
Anybody can change and grow anytime they choose to.
Yep. And your identity does not need to be solely on whether you are with an ex or not. And I know that it feels like that for a while, but in time you will see that will get better.
Yeah, it will get better.
Yeah. And this is also something to remember, is that in your future relationships, as you learn these skills, they're going to inevitably be healthier. And with this is my caveat, is that in your new relationships, try to maintain that sense of identity throughout the relationship instead of losing yourself in that person, as tempting as it might be to just fuse with that person, feel so connected.
Yeah.
If you try to maintain that sense of self throughout that relationship, it's going to help you in the long run.
Absolutely. Yep.
One of the few places in this world where you can have it both ways. You can be really close with your partner and still maintain your individual identity. Okay?
And for those of you who don't wind up getting back with an ex, the more you learn and heal and you work on yourself, get into therapy, if you do the workbooks or the creative healing course, you're going to see that you're going to attract healthier people, and you're going to be turned off by unhealthy people.
Right.
You'll naturally look at them and say, I don't want to date somebody like this again. And so you'll break that cycle of dating people that make you feel like your parents did.
Which is never a good idea.
Exactly. Which is what we do.
And we're all drawn to it, right?
Yeah, like a moth to a flame.
All right, so these are all things that you want to be aware of. And just go back to thinking of the best version of yourself possible. And even though you feel like you've lost yourself, realize that you can find this new amazing person at the other end of it. So stay motivated and be encouraged to just keep growing and bettering yourself.
Absolutely. We know it's scary. It is absolutely terrifying to be in the position that you're in.
Right.
One of the scariest things, because we feel abandoned.
That's right.
Right?
And abandonment is a fear that we have born into us.
Of course, we have hundreds of videos you could watch. That's what we're here for. You guys can set up a Skype with us. I rarely say this, but the truth is, Margaret, and I know you're going to agree with this, when people sign up for that Skype, their anxiety level calms down immediately.
Right. Yeah. It's just like making an appointment with somebody. Sure. That helps immediately because you've done something.
Yeah.
And the other thing always to remember is that growth feels good. Or why would any of us do it? Because it's never easy. But when you feel like you've taken some kind of control and you're growing, it feels good and it keeps you going.
Absolutely. Give Coach Victoria a thumbs up for her research on this. It was a great one.
Yep.
Of course, if you want to get my help personally, go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret, of course, is available for Skype coaching.
If you think I can be helpful, please sign up.
And Coach Victoria is here still training with us.
I'll be here.
But eventually she will be doing coaching with us as well. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.